The story of the film takes place in 1943, during the Second World War in Sweden, in a small conservative town. The hero of the story is Luther, a troublesome student who leads a simple life with his family. Luther is an intelligent young man, but sometimes reckless as he faces the challenges of adolescence, especially in an environment dominated by social constraints and traditional values. And at school, a new teacher named Viola arrives to teach history and geography. Viola is an attractive woman in her 30s, married but experiencing a tumultuous marital relationship with her alcoholic husband, which plunges her into solitude and isolation. The story of the film focuses on the relationship between Luther and Viola as student and teacher, and it seems that Luther is fascinated by her personality, while Viola sees in Luther an ambitious yet still immature young man. Over time, an emotional communication develops between Luther and Viola, especially when Viola begins to notice Luther's intelligence and his passion for life, and gets closer to him in unconventional ways, such as giving him personal advice and discussing topics beyond the teaching scope. The mutual admiration between Luther and Viola transforms into a more complex relationship, with Viola seeing Luther as an escape from her cold marital life, while Luther feels he is having a rare and exciting experience, even though he does not fully understand its moral and social dimensions. The secret relationship between Luther and Viola begins to arouse suspicion within the school and the community, because Luther's classmates notice his growing interest in the teacher Viola, and rumors spread among the students, while Luther suffers from an internal conflict as he feels torn between the desire to pursue the relationship and the fear of the consequences. Viola tries to reconcile her feelings for Luther with the social constraints that govern her, in addition to her problems with her husband, who begins to suspect she is hiding something and decides to confront her directly, which increases her tension. At the same time, Luther feels that he has lost his innocence as he faces responsibilities greater than his age, and the relationship between him and Viola begins to gradually disintegrate. It becomes clear that the difference in age and experience between them makes it difficult to continue their relationship. In a moment of decisive confrontation, Viola decides to end her relationship with Luther, aware that she has caused psychological harm to both parties. While Luther finally realizes that this experience was beyond him, despite his sadness and anger, he begins to seek his identity away from Viola's influence. Luther returns to his normal life, but he is no longer the same young man he was at the beginning, because his relationship with Viola changed his view on life, love, and relationships. While Viola decides to keep her marriage, even though her relationship with Luther left her with a mix of guilt and sadness about her poor choices. The film ends with a strong message about human complexities and the psychological consequences of unequal relationships, highlighting the importance of maturity and responsibility in relationships, and reflects how love, despite its beauty, can be destructive if it is not based on solid foundations. The film addresses an extremely sensitive subject with an artistic style that reflects the reality of society in times of war. Director Bill Agas succeeded in presenting this story from an emotional and human perspective, while respecting the psychological complexities of the characters, making the film a dramatic, moving, and sincere work.